Hello, chess fans. Welcome to another episode of Chess Chat, a program brought to you live from the Rollstone Bank and Trust studio at Fitchburg Access Television. I am George Merijanian, Program Director of the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University. This club, the second oldest chess club in Massachusetts, meets every Wednesday evening in rooms 163 and 165 of the McKay Complex at the university. And with me for this 209th episode of Chess Chat is our award-winning director, Darren Dame of Fitchburg, recipient of FATV's very prestigious Boulder Award in 2009, and now starting his 20th consecutive year as director of Chess Chat, and that is a record. And assisting Darren in the control room and also on the set with camera work is our fellow resident and longtime Wachusett Chess Club member, Brian Bigelow, who also prepares the set for every episode of Chess Chat. And sitting across from me is my longtime associate, trusty colleague, my co-host, Dave Kuchar, who is a multi-talented guy. He is a chess author, a chess photographer. He is the former statistician for the Wachusett Chess Club. He is a certified tournament director with the U.S. Chess Federation. As I say, a very talented guy, my co-host, Dave Kuchar. Good seeing you again, Dave.
Good to see you, George.
Now that you're living a little farther away from the Fitchburg, Leominster area, now living in Northampton. How is it now in Northampton?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay. But you're finding chess activity up in New Hampshire because you're playing now Monday nights at the Knights Chess Club in Keene, New Hampshire.
That's right. That's where I'd be right now if it wasn't for...
Yeah, exactly. You would be. That's right. You would be here because it's a Monday night.
Yep.
Okay. So, but it's good to have you at least come back to Fitchburg and participate in Chess Chat as my trusty co-host.
Yep.
Well, Dave, we have great news for our Chess Chat fans because last month we did a preview of the U.S. Championships.
Right.
Both the U.S. Championship, the Open Division, which was a 12 players, all happened to be all men, and also a 12-player round robin among the women, the U.S. Women's Championship. And we have repeat winners. Those who won the previous year, 2024, repeated as champions this year. And we're going to let our viewers know as far as who won the Open Division. It actually is, once again, is Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana, who actually, this is his 5th U.S. championship that he's won. Yeah, so he's certainly dominating chess in this country, and actually his ranking in the world, I believe now, is dropped down to 3rd. He was at one time second in the world.
Right.
Is the highest, second highest rated player, but now he's dropped down to 3rd in the championship. But at the closing ceremony for this year's U.S. Championship, which was held on October 24th, I believe is the date. Okay. It was a Friday night. I thought it was going to be held the following day, but they did it on Friday, the 24th. They presented the top 3 winners in each of the divisions. Now there were 12 players in each of the divisions, and they all won prize money. No one was left empty-handed. But we're going to show, Darren actually has photos of the top 3 in each of the divisions, and we're going to start with the 3rd place finisher in the Open Division, and that is Grandmaster Levon Aronian. There's Levon Aronian. He's been playing in the United States since 2021, December of 2021. He's actually was born in Yerevan, Armenia, but he no longer plays for the country of Armenia. He is now a U.S. player, and he came in 3rd place in the Open Division. He, out of 11 games that he played, he scored 6.5 points out of 11, which is enough for clear 3rd place in the championship. Now, coming in clear 2nd place with 7.5 points was Grandmaster Wesley So. There's Wesley. He's actually 32 years old. Just actually turned 32 just at the end of last month.
Okay.
And He is a three-time. He has won the U.S. Championship in the past. He won in the year 2017, 2020, and 2021. So there is Wesley So, a three-time champion. And again, he was born in the Philippines, as we pointed out in our preview last month.
Yep.
But the winner now, as I pointed out, is Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana. There's Fabiano. He's 33 years old. He was born in Miami, Florida, but grew up in Brooklyn, New York. And again, this is his 5th U.S. championship. He's won it in the past 4 years, but he's won it a total of 5 times. The first time was in 2016, but then he won it in 2022, 23, 24, and this year, 2025. So he is certainly the top player in the country, and has proven it again and again, year after year.
The only thing that we'd have to say is Hikaru Nakamura did not play in the championship. I'm not sure why.
Hikaru Nakamura, who grew up in White Plains, New York, was born in Japan, came here to the United States at a very young age, very young. He chose not to play in this year's championship.
Right.
But I understand, I got the latest news, that Hikaru Nakamura has qualified for the candidates, the FIDE World Candidates Tournament, because what he needed to get was 40 games. There was a requirement by the World Chess Federation that you have a minimum number of games you have to play in a calendar year.
Okay.
And he just completed 40 games, which was the requirement to qualify because of his rating. He's number 2 in the world, behind Magnus Carlsen, who was the world champion, but no longer, because Magnus is no longer interested, because his attitude is, well, after you become world champion, what else is there? What else is left? So he's not really interested in becoming world champion again.
And he's been world champion numerous times.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. So again, Hikaru Nakamura chose not to play. But again, if he played, that would have been a very interesting U.S. championship if Hikaru had played this year.
Yep.
Okay. Now let's get to the women's championship, and I'm going to get my records here straight so I don't miss up here. Now, coming in 3rd place in this year's U.S. championship is a player, a woman who's, young lady, I would say, 42 years old. That's young to me. At my age, 42 is young.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. She is the only grandmaster among the women players in this country.
Yep.
And her name, we have a photo of Irina Krush. Now, again, she was born in Ukraine. When she was born in Ukraine, her name was pronounced Krush. She was Irina Krush. But again, she's coming to this country at a young age. She changed the pronunciation of her name to Krush. So everybody knows her as Irina Krush. Yep. And again, she has won the U.S. Women's Championship 8 times. And I'll give you the years that she won it. She won it in 1998 was the first time she did it. 2007, 2010, 12, 13, 14, 2015, and 20. The last time she won it was 2020. So she's won it more times than anybody else. 8 times. And again, she lives in New York and was born in Ukraine. And they gave her the Grandmaster title, the World Chess Federation, in the year 2013. Okay, so Irina was 3rd place, clear 3rd place, with 7 points out of 11 in this year's U.S. Women's Championship. Now, who came in 2nd place? Well, coming in 2nd place is a player who made her debut in this year's U.S. Championship, and she is International Master Anna Saksyan. Anna Saksyan is from Armenia. Born in Armenia. She's 24 years old, and she's been playing now. She started playing in this country this year. It was only this year she started playing, and making her debut in the U.S. Women's Championship. She did quite well, coming in clear 2nd place with 7.5 points. And again, she became an international master in the year 2021. And she is 24 years old, as I mentioned. But let's now get to our four-time U.S. Women's Champion, and that is our own international master, Carissa Yip. And Darren has a photo of her. Yeah. Now, you and I met Carissa when she was 7 years old. She's now 22 years old. Yeah. And the reason we met Carissa is that she joined the Wachusett Chess Club at the age of 7 in the year 2010. And little did we know that this 7-year-old girl who played month after month after she joined the club. She joined the club actually in December. At the age of 7, December 2010, would go on to become the player that she has become. And she sent me an email about a week ago, and she said, George, the Washington Chess Club has been a great contributor to my success as a chess player. So she gives a lot of credit to the club, but actually we give a lot of credit to Carissa because she really developed her skill as a prodigy. I consider she's a prodigy. Yeah. She became a prodigy. And 2 years after she won the Wachusett Chess Club Championship with a perfect score, by the way. Yeah. Perfect score, which is extremely rare. To win a championship with a perfect score. She went to the Boylston Chess Club in Boston, or it actually was meeting in North Cambridge at the time. They changed their playing site. She won their club championship, and that club had masters, had strong players, very strong players, and she won the championship there in 2016. Okay. So she's a two-club champion, and again she won it. And what's interesting about Chris in this year's Women's Championship, she had a bad start.
Yeah, she did.
She started off with a loss, then followed up with 3 draws, and then they came with a win. But, over the 11 rounds, she was behind everybody until the 9th round. That is 2 rounds before the end. She was able to go into a tie for first. And then the following round 10, she won her game and took over sole lead with 7 points. And in the last round, she won, and then there were 8 points. Yeah. And she had the best finish of all the young ladies in the U.S. Women's Championship, which is phenomenal.
Yeah. In contrast to last year, where she just came out of the gate and won
8 games in a row. She won her first 8 games in a row.
She was in first place from beginning to end.
And the commentators, they were astounded.
Yeah.
They were saying, is she going to repeat what Bobby Fischer did in 1964? Bobby Fischer, who, by the way, came to Fitchburg, I mention this all the time. Bobby Fischer came to Fitchburg in March 1964. A couple of months before he came to Fitchburg, he won the U.S. Championship with a perfect score of 11-0. Yeah. That had been no one had ever done before. Yeah. And because of that, no one since then has done that. And because of that, Rex Singfield, who you met him, you visited him at the St. Louis Chess Club, where the U.S. Championship is played every year. The Rex Singfield and his wife Jeannie Cairns Singfield, they have offered actually a prize. If anybody is able to win a U.S. championship, whether it be the women's or the men's of the open division, isn't there a prize of $100,000? Or no, $64,000. It's $64,000 because of the year 1964. Yeah. No, what Rex and Jeannie Singfield are offering is for any female that becomes a grandmaster. Again, we only have one, Arena Crush. Yep. But if Carissa Yip becomes a grandmaster, she's one grandmaster norm away from becoming a grandmaster, they will award her $100,000 for becoming a grandmaster. So that is her goal.
Right. So any female player who does it, I think before 2030.
Yes, there's a time limit on this. Yes,
award $100,000.
Right. So that is Chris's goal is to be, but her goal is to become a grandmaster. She really wants to become. Right. Now, Carissa actually selected a game for us to present to our Chess Chat fans that she played actually in the 6th round of this year's U.S. Women's Championship, and it was against Arena Crush, Grandmaster Arena Crush. and you had received some commentary. Carissa sent us some commentary about the game she played against Irina Krush.
Right.
And how many times she mentions that actually in her notes that they've played Irina and Carissa have played about
at least a dozen.
At least a dozen times. Okay, over the past how many years? So it's been quite a number of games they played.
Yeah. Do you want me to read her initial comment?
Yeah. Why don't you read her initial comments on the game that we're going to present?
Okay. So she said, in round 6 of the 2025 U.S. Women's Championship, I was facing off across from 8-time U.S. Women's Champ Grandmaster Irina Krush. After a shaky start of 1.5 out of 4, I had just bounced back with a nice win in Game 5, so I was ready to get back on the scoreboard, though I was facing a formidable and consistent opponent. Irina and I had played at least a dozen times in the last 9 years. All the same, I was ready for a fight. And she did put an exclamation point after the 9, because that's
9 years.
That is amazing. She's what, 22 years old. So
she started with she was like 13.
Was
she was a young teenager when she played Irina for the first time.
Yeah.
So they've played at least a dozen times.
Yep.
Okay. And again, she beat Irina in this game we're going to present. And also she beat, Irina coming in 3rd place this year, but Anna Saxian, who came in clear 2nd, she beat, Carissa also beat her in the regular competition. Mm-hmm. But let's get to the game that Carissa played against Irina. And who had white in the game that we're going to present?
Irina was white.
Okay, so how did Irina open the game against Carissa?
She opened with C4.
Okay, C4. Now, what is this opening called that is played with C4? Has a name?
The English is unless it transposes, it's called the English
right
opening.
Now, okay, with this opening move of C4, moving the pawn to C4, that is known as the English opening. Mm-hmm. Do you know anybody who plays the English opening?
I do.
You?
I do,
You're an English opening player. Okay.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes you are. Okay. Now, in response to this, Black has choices here. Here, I'm going to show our viewers 3 logical replies to C4. Mm-hmm. One could play the pawn to E5. Yeah. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Grab the center. If White's not going to play a center pawn, an immediate center pawn, you might as well play E5. That's a good move. Also playable is Knight F6, with a good developing move, which stops a White from playing E4.
Right.
And another good move, which is seen off and on, is playing the pawn to C5, which is the symmetrical English.
Yep.
Okay. So those are 3 good alternatives. But Carissa played the pawn to G6. Yep. So that's another good alternative to play against C4.
Right.
Okay. So how did Irina continue on move 2?
So Irina's going to play D4, but we should say that, again, just to show options.
Yes.
Some players don't want to transpose into a D4 opening, so they would either play knight to C3.
Yes.
Or they might play G3.
Okay.
So that it sort of stays an English opening. But Irina decides to play D4, so now we're actually playing basically what's normally a D4 opening.
So Irina could have started with D4 and then followed up with C4.
That's sort of what we were talking about earlier. It's called, opening poker, where rather than opening with D4 first and facing
a variety
some lines that she might want to avoid, she starts with C4.
Okay.
And waits to see what her opponent's going to play.
Okay.
So.
All right. So what Carissa does, by playing G6 as her first move, it's obvious what Carissa's plan is to fianchetto, we call fianchetto the bishop, the dark square bishop. So she plays the bishop to the G7. That's the whole purpose of playing G6, is to vacate that square for the bishop. All right, it's now Irina's 3rd move. How does she continue here? She has options here.
She plays E4. And we've said on the show many times that, if you're allowed to push both of your central pawns 2 squares, you can't go wrong by doing that.
Okay, so she's actually she's
dominating the center.
Dominating the center, those 3 center pawns there. Right.
Right. And so what Carissa's doing is what we call a hypermodern opening, where you're going to come at the center from the sides, and eventually you're going to push one of your center pawns, but you hold off for a while.
All right. Here is what Carissa played on her 3rd move. she advances the d pawn to d6. Okay, which now opens up actually for the light squared bishop
Right.
to come out.
And supports being able to push the e-pawn 2
Yes,
squares.
it does. Actually, it does support the
Yeah.
advance of the e pawn to e5. All right, it's now Irina's fourth move. How does she continue?
So straightforward development, knight to c3.
All right, a good developing move. And now Carissa continues with her development of pieces and plays the knight on g8 to f6.
Right. And
Knight
her
f6.
note was just saying, entering the ever-sharp King's Indian.
Right.
So it is a sharp opening. It's one that Carissa likes to play a lot.
So this is the King's Indian defense,
King's
which
Indian
is a favorite
defense.
of Carissa.
Carissa.
You know who else actually this was a favorite of?
I was going to say Kasparov is one who played it.
Yes, but also Bobby Fischer.
Fischer, okay.
Bobby Fischer, when he actually was facing this right here with knight on c3 and the pawn, would play the King's Indian defense. Yes,
Yep.
that was his favorite defense against this opening the white is playing here. All right, it is now white's move, Irina's fifth move.
So again, just develops to bishop to e2.
Operates on, so actually we're able,
Right.
the bishop is able to
go either way,
Either
yeah.
way, both sides of the board. All right, so now Carissa is able to castle. And this is the faster you get the castle is actually in like 5 moves like this. Or actually, you could, if we're defeating Kettle, we actually could, well, no, we're castled safely. The king is safely tucked away here on the king's side here.
Yep.
All right, it is now Irina's sixth move. How does she continue?
Just continues with simple development, knight to f3.
All right. Now here's an interesting continuation by Carissa. She now plays e5. Let's play with Carissa's move. E5. Wait a minute. Hold it. By playing e5, doesn't it give the white the opportunity to win a pawn here? Because
It looks like it.
It looks like with the knight on f3 and the pawn on d4,
Yep.
we're attacking this pawn on e5 2 times, and it's only defended once with the pawn on d6.
Right.
So is this an illusion? I
It's
mean,
an illusion, yeah.
is
So
it
we
an illusion?
can show.
Let's show if white were to take here,
Yep.
d takes e5, and if black has to take back, d takes e5.
Yep.
It looks like white just wins a pawn with knight e5. But what is wrong with this? This is not the case at all.
All right. Well, you're going to show us, right?
Because
now, right?
what is black's response to this, giving up a pawn like this? Well, the way black responds is simply to take knight takes e4, takes the pawn back, but
Yeah.
but on any capture here, black is simply going to take this knight here.
Right.
So it'll be materially equal. Yeah.
Equal,
So
yep.
so there's no gain of a pawn
Yep.
by what black did. Let's put this pawn here on d6. So it is now it's white's move. So Irina did not take the pawn on e5 naturally because it gains nothing. It does not win a pawn.
Right.
Now, does she have? What could she do? What could Irina? Could she have done here?
The most obvious and simple thing was she could have just castled.
Yes.
Right.
There's no problem castling
No
right
problem
away.
castling.
Because again, there's just that pawn on d4 is defended adequately, but Irina chose not to castle and put her king safely on the king's side.
Yeah, so she takes the chance to, it's a significant choice here, is to push the pawn, now completely locking up the center.
Okay, so that's what she chose to do.
Yeah.
All right, so here is what Carissa, how she responded to that. She played this pawn on a7 to a5. Because evidently she would like, evidently she needs, this knight that needs to be developed. I think she has an idea of probably bringing this knight over to a6 and sinking and occupying this square on c5.
So she'd like to put a knight.
A knight, yes.
A knight here and not have to worry about
Yes.
the knight getting kicked out by this pawn. So she's,
Yeah, if the pawn were on a5,
she's
yes, she could do that.
covering the square.
All right, so after a5, what did Irina do on move 8?
Now here, Carissa's
note?
Carissa's note says what Irina does, and we'll show it. She
Yes.
plays h3, and she said this is a fairly rare try. She said white plans to push with a quick G4 and H4, and black will try to parry it with F5 at the right time.
All right.
So black's response is to defend against it is going to be F5 when...
So Chris is saying that the Arena's move of H3 is actually a rare move?
A rare move.
Rarely played?
Rare, and I guess, based on our description, it's an aggressive move.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because if the plan is to support the advance of the G-pawn, that is a bold move. That's a very bold and aggressive move. Yeah. So after H3, here is what Carissa did. Well, she says, hey, I'm now going to bring this knight on B8 into play here by putting it over to A6, knight A6. Yeah. Yep. All right. All right. It is now Arena's ninth move. What does she do?
So, again, development, bishop to G5, developing and pinning that knight against the queen.
Okay, so that's a pin.
Yep.
That's an unpleasant pin, having that knight pinned on F6. And because that knight is pinned, Carissa realizes, I don't want to have face this pin of the knight. So she moves the queen to E8 to get off this pin.
Right. So
now the knight is no longer pinned. Right. Yeah. So all right. So by playing the queen to A8, so it is now Arena's 10th move. How does she continue?
So this sort of move, this is a fairly deep move because she plays knight to D2. So she's first of all allowing for the possibility of pushing this pawn.
Yes.
But she's also probably going to be redeploying this knight to a completely different square.
So she chose to actually move the same piece.
Right.
What I learned chess many years ago, I was told, don't waste time moving the same piece again and again.
And we're all still told that
We're
today.
still told that, yeah. But she has an idea. She has a plan,
right?
Yeah, of redeployment of that knight instead of actually developing another piece or even like castling or anything to help her development. She chooses to redeploy a piece she's already deployed. Yeah.
Right, and so one of the things we've said before is players at this level know when they can break the general rules, right?
Right, exactly. And that's what's happening right now. By
playing players at my level would probably not even think of that because I don't want to move a piece I've already moved, and I would probably castle.
Castle, right? Exactly. Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with castling, but she chose to play this redeployment of the D2. All right. Now that Carissa had moved the queen to E8 to get off this pin of the knight, now she's able to save that knight or redeploy. She now can redeploy her knight to D7. She brings the knight to D7. Okay, so that's where she's going. So this actually gives the opportunity for this knight to occupy this square on C5 instead of this knight on A6.
Right. Yeah. And it's typical in the King's Indian, right, where you move the knight out of the way to prepare to push the pawn to F5.
Yeah, it vacates the square in front to allow the F pawn to advance.
So that's a very standard idea.
Okay. So so it is now Arena's 11th move. How does she continue?
So just like Carissa said, this was her plan.
Aggression. G4. This is bold. This is very bold to do this.
Yep.
Again, G4. All right. So after G4, here is what Carissa now, the move she deployed back to D7, is now going to move from D7 to C5. All right. So we're right here and deployed here. All right. All right. So how does Arena continue now? It's move 12 for Arena. What does she do?
So this is kind of surprising to me. She plays rook to G1.
Okay.
Which means there's no way, and she can't castle on the king side any longer.
But I guess it's clear to us, I think, that the rook is here to defend the pawn on G4 so she can advance the H pawn.
Push this
H4, H5.
Yep.
So that's the whole purpose of rook G1 is to defend the pawn on G4, which is under attack by the bishop on C8. Yep. All right, it is now Carissa's move. So Carissa doesn't. Maybe she's going to take some precautionary move by playing the king to H8. I guess she doesn't want that king to be on this file.
That's exactly what she said in her note. She said getting the king off the G file in preparation for F5.
Okay, so that's what she does. She played king H8. So there's now Arena's 13th move. What does she do now?
So, like I mentioned earlier, she's
Oh,
got the
another
idea.
it's a redeployment.
Right, she wants to
All right.
bring the knight somewhere else altogether.
So this knight has actually made 3 moves. Knight
Right,
f3,
right.
knight d2, and now back to f1.
Right.
So this is a very interesting idea that Irina has.
Yep.
But this doesn't stop, actually, Carissa from carrying out her plan of counterattacking, which she does on move 13 with f5.
Yep.
f5. Now, with the pawn on f5, Carissa is now attacking the pawn on e4 2 times. With the pawn on f5 and the knight on c5 here, we've got a double attack, and the only piece that's defending it, this pawn, is the knight on c3.
Yeah.
So there's a threat of actually winning a pawn. It seems to me that that's Black's threat here, is to win that pawn on e4 with the double attack.
Yep.
So how does Irina respond to this double attack on the pawn on e4?
So she doesn't worry about defending that.
She's not
again.
worried about that.
She simply brings the queen to d2, I believe. Yeah, d2.
Okay.
Which, first of all, I mean, develops the queen, allows castling on the
Yes,
queen side.
yes, right. True. It does vacate the square for allowing white to castle queen side.
Yeah, and maybe she's also thinking of
Yes.
forcing that bishop off.
That would enforce that would weaken the castle position here.
Yep.
If the bishop were traded. Okay.
So now,
Okay. So is there anything Carissa says about this
yeah.
position?
So now we should show a little analysis that Carissa sent, because she said.
Yes. This is on a move forward.
So we'll show on the board that this is what
Yeah.
she actually played: knight to bishop 4.
That was her
knight
move.
to b4.
Right.
But she said after a long think, she decided on this move
Right.
to bring her sideline knight into the game. But she says, however,
Yes.
she said f4 would have led to a nice advantage for Black. She
All right.
says, though it feels the tension in the center should be in Black's favor, especially because White's king is still uncastled.
Yes.
Closing up the king side quickly, followed up by a fast c6, and Black's attack on the queen side
Yes.
becomes dangerous. So she gives a line. So she says, if she played f4,
Yep.
White could have blocked with f3 to
Right.
prevent
The advancement of the pawn to attack
pawn
the
again.
bishop. Right.
So she could have played f3, then bishop to d7,
Yep. All right.
then so bishop to h4,
A4. And then allowing the bishop to come back to f2.
yeah, because she doesn't want to trade off
Yeah. All right.
Black's bad bishop. So
Right.
if Carissa played bishop to f6,
Bishop f6. Okay, here.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
then she had played back here to f2, and she says queen to e7 for Black,
Yep.
and she says
And now actually
Black is quickly going to exchange off the bad
by playing bishop h4.
dark squared bishop.
Yeah.
And she says, and then after c6, the knights on the queen side would have dominated.
Okay. This is rather deep analysis.
Right. So this is
very-
so she had at this point in the game, she had taken a long time, and she had
Yeah.
spent time looking at this. She realized later this was probably the better choice, but at the
Right.
time,
Yeah.
she moved the knight. So
Yeah.
let's
All right. Let's put things
try to
back.
put everything back.
Okay. This is here.
where
This
it
is
was.
here.
The bishop.
The bishop
was
was still here.
Bishop here.
Okay. Make sure we got everything in the proper
Let's
place
see, do we
here.
have everything in the proper
Is that a match here?
place? I think
I think this-
everything's all set.
Yeah. This
so,
looks. All right. So
knight to b4 is what she actually played,
so knight b4 is what? Yeah. She played this knight to b4 right here.
but she used a lot of time to, also analyze that. But,
All right. Okay. So.
but again, we're showing these moves on the board where she's doing it in her head, and
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
you always have to question whether you miss something when you're thinking about it in your head.
Yeah.
and so she played. This is certainly much safer.
Right.
Just bring the knight out into
Okay.
a better square.
So what did the Irina do now? It's her 15th move. How did Irina continue here?
Okay, so she plays the bishop back to e3.
All right. Okay. All right. So this is where, well, it seems now that Carissa now is able to win this pawn on e4 because we still have
Right.
that double attack here.
Sure. Yep.
So knight and f pawn are attacking this pawn. So Carissa now takes the pawn on e4, but she takes it first with the knight. Knight takes e4. That's her move.
Yep.
Okay. And what Irina did was take back with the knight. And of course, Carissa has to recapture.
Yep.
With the F pawn takes the knight on E4, F takes E4. So Carissa's now is a pawn ahead, right?
Yep, for the moment.
At the moment, she's a pawn ahead in this position. So how is Irina continuing here now that she's a pawn behind in this position?
Yeah, this knight that's moved 3 times is going to move a 4th time to G3 and hit the pawn.
Yes, but now the threat is to recover the pawn that she lost.
Yep.
So on knight G3, all right. So here is where Carissa must have, I'm sure, thought a long time on this move, and decided on this move, knight the D3 check. Okay, she goes in and checks the king. All right. So what did Irina do in response to this check? Did she take that knight on D3?
She does take the knight.
All right, so bishop takes D3, and of course, Carissa's move is automatic. Is E takes D3. He takes the bishop on D3. Okay, it is now Irina's move. Oh, what does she do here?
So she recaptures.
She recaptures.
Queen takes D3, and now Carissa has a comment.
All right, what is Carissa's comment?
She said she had calculated this line in advance.
Yes.
She said, but now that it was on the board, she was unsure. She says, though I have the 2 bishops,
yes,
they're both not doing much.
Right. Yeah,
the dark squared bishop is blocked by the E5 pawn.
Right.
And the light squared bishop is restricted by white's pawns.
Right. It just has this one square here.
Right. And she said, so if white gets 2 moves to consolidate,
yes,
you know, if white was given a chance to do that, she said then she'd be doing very well. So she said, in order...
She had to stop that knight from getting to E4.
Yeah, so in order to disrupt the plan, she felt that she should break open the position with E4. But again, we've got some analysis from her. She said another plan she was considering.
Yes, another plan.
Which she thinks was objectively better was to play B5.
I see. Okay.
And then...
and if there were a capture here, after this, to stop this pawn from moving up the A4 to defend it,
right?
Who pushed that, and that would stop and then we could actually put pressure on that.
Right. So she says the line she was thinking of, the rook would have come to C1.
All right.
You know, hitting this pawn.
Right.
And bishop to D7.
Bishop to D7, double attack on this pawn.
Yeah.
Right. And now we're going to...
then B6.
Yes.
And she says here, black would be down a pawn but have good compensation because the light squared bishop now has found freedom. So,
now it's activated.
Because now this light squared bishop, for example, could come here.
This bishop now is activated. Yes, right. That would be...
So,
all right, so that didn't happen.
So she was saying, she had looked at...
Right.
She had looked at that line, but she decided against it.
Okay.
So
this is still here, right? This is here.
Rook is back here.
Okay. Is this the position? It's now... Yeah, I think this is correct. It is now Carissa's move, right? In this
so
position.
what she did play was E4.
E4.
Because she,
attacks the queen, and of course, but again, it's offering this pawn because there's only one piece defending that pawn, and this is double, it's attacked twice now here. I mean, queen and knight. So what did Irina do now?
So Irina does take the pawn.
Right, exactly. And now Carissa chose not to play bishop takes the pawn on B2. She came with a better move. She played queen to E5.
Yep.
Let the queen lead the attack.
Right. And her comment was centralizing the queen and stopping queenside castling. Because if Irina were to castle queenside, then it's checkmate.
This is the end of the game. Checkmate. So that certainly stops castling.
So that stops castling.
Right. Okay, so it is now Irina's move. Carissa just played queen E5.
Right. And so again, I think this is the last...
Move 21 coming up.
Yeah, no, not the last piece, but this is another piece of analysis.
An analysis?
Where Irina, this is what Irina played, is rook to B1.
Defending the pawn.
To defend the pawn, but Carissa's saying, what'd she say? White should happily give up that B2 pawn.
Yes.
she says, though this is, of course, very unintuitive.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. It's not intuitive.
Yeah,
but
most players would defend the pawn.
Sure.
Yeah. But
and here we have, Irina, a grandmaster.
Right,
I mean,
right.
it's
Yeah.
so. Carissa says rook to g3,
okay.
and then after
The queen takes
the
b2.
queen takes,
Forces the queen now to move, attack and now the rook attacks the queen.
the rook comes here. The queen could go back,
Right.
and then
Oh.
f4
And now we have actually white now
Right.
attacking
on
here.
the attack. The
On the
queen
ki-
go
okay.
back to e7.
That would force black in a defensive mode here. Yeah.
And
So-
then king to f2, and
Oh,
Carissa's
wow.
comment is white's king will move safely to g1.
Yep. Black is on the defensive now.
Yeah, and the light squared bishop has no good diagonals
Yeah.
to attack along.
No.
And then she says, meanwhile, white's pieces are all quite ideally placed.
All right.
And she says it's very difficult for black to come up with a good plan.
Yep.
And the two bishops are actually quite ineffective.
No, especially the light square bishop has
Yeah.
has no future.
Because again, as a general rule, we
Yeah.
say the bishop pair is an
Yeah.
advantage.
Right.
But Carissa realizes in this case it's actually not an
Right.
advantage.
Okay. So let's put
I'll
this back. This was here.
So, yeah.
The rook was here. King was here. That rook was on G1.
G1, pawns
And-
back here.
Okay. Make sure we got everything. Is this the position now as we see it? No, the queen is on E5, right?
Queen's on e5.
Okay.
Yep, very good.
This looks like the
Yep.
position. All right.
So this is what Irina played.
Rook B1.
to b1 to
Okay.
guard the pawn
All
on
right.
b2. But, Carissa's pointing out that the
Right.
not very obvious
All right.
rook to g3 would have been better.
Okay, here is where now Carissa only has one move with this light square bishop, and that's bishop d7. So she plays the bishop d7. And how does Carissa continue? Move 22 for Carissa.
22.
I mean,
This
for
is-
Irina. Yep.
This is the last
Note.
bit of last note from Carissa.
Okay.
She just said the best plan for Irina right now would have been, again, this f4 push.
Attack the queen. Yeah.
The f4 push, and then the line was the queen back to e7,
And bring the king.
king to d2, the rook on a to e8,
Okay, over here.
yeah, and knight to c3,
All right.
queen to h4
Okay, right
by
here.
black,
Yeah, all right.
and then rook to h1, and
Defend
she
the
says,
pawn. Yeah, yeah.
though it feels quite unpleasant for white, this holds everything.
Okay.
So she's saying, again,
This was actually the best course of action for white.
best course of action
Chris is pointing out.
would have been f4.
Right. Yeah.
So, in any event, that's not what happened.
Okay, let's put this back here.
So
Was this
that
queen
rook's back
here?
there. The queen is.
Right.
Whoops! I'm sorry. The queen's on
On E5,
on
right, okay.
E5.
Okay, what else are we missing here? Right there,
This
knight A4
here, this rook is
on G1.
here, and
Okay.
everything is good. Okay.
So it is now Irina's 22nd move now.
Irina's 22nd move.
So what does she play?
So king to e2. So,
All right.
Castling isn't an option anymore. She's moved both of her rooks. So
Right.
the king's stuck in the center anyway.
Okay.
King to e2.
So finally, the Carissa's final piece is coming into play now with rook on A8 moving to E8.
Yeah.
But we have a threat. We now have attacking, the rook and queen are now attacking the knight, only defended once.
Yep.
So how does Irina defend that knight? She doesn't retreat it, she defends that knight by playing F3.
F3.
However, by playing F3, defending the knight with the pawn and the queen, this allows Carissa now to play Queen H2 check. Okay. And now, how does Irina respond to this check?
And she did, and Carissa's comment was this is a killing blow right there, Queen
Okay,
H2 check.
this is really a strong move.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here, we won't show the analysis, but it looks like
Blocking with the bishop.
playing with the bishop would have been a better choice.
Right.
And Carissa's comment is that
She blocked, but
she said perhaps, because Irina blocked with the knight,
right.
and she just said perhaps Irina had missed that all the tactics work out in Carissa's favor.
In her favor. Okay. All right. Here is where now, so it's now Carissa's move, and now she plays a very strong move, plays the bishop to H6, and look what we got here. we have with the bishop on h6 and the rook on e8, we have a double attack on the bishop, and we're threatening now to take that bishop with check and winning the queen.
Yeah.
With the double attack on the bishop on e3.
And Carissa's comment was she was trying to provoke the push of this to free up, this bishop.
Free up the bishop
like it could come here and just grab that pawn, for example, because
the
knight's pinned. So
right. Okay. All right. So
she's trying to provoke that, which Irina didn't play that immediately.
And what did Irina do?
She played queen to d4 check.
All right. So Carissa has to move out of check.
Yep.
And she plays king g8. Yep. All right. So there she is. Now it is Irina's 26th move coming in. What did she do?
Now here's the move that she was trying to provoke.
Right.
G5.
Attacks the bishop, forces the bishop to only move. There's only one move for the bishop.
Yep.
And that's bishop g7.
Hitting the queen.
All right. Oh, yeah. Now attacking the queen. So what is Irina going to do here? We've got to move the queen.
Queen over to h4.
All right. So she moves the queen h4. All right, now Carissa comes with this activated light square bishop now comes into play by going to f5 and attacks the rook on b1. Okay, so how is Irina going to respond here? She's got to save that rook on b1 and moves it over to d1. Okay, this allows Carissa now to bring this queen back.
This is beautiful, which is
move.
She's doing with the queen. I mean.
And look at this. Now we have the threat of a double attack on the bishop on e3. All right. So, and we can't defend it with the rook out coming up to defend it because the bishop controls the d3 square.
So what she's done, I mean, she's brought the queen up here.
Yes.
Gone over to the king side, done some damage.
Yeah.
Now she's coming back, and she even said retreating the queen in order to infiltrate on the other side.
Right.
With devastating effect. So
Irina has to come up with this defense here. Stopping the big threat is taking with the queen check with the bishop.
So she blocks by playing knight to e4.
Knight e4. Okay, and here is where Carissa now takes that knight with the bishop. Bishop takes e4. That's her move. Bishop takes e4. And Irina now responds with f takes e4.
Yep.
Okay. Now Carissa plays this queen on e5 and takes the pawn on b2 with check.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what does Irina do? Block the check?
Yeah, she blocks.
Okay.
B2.
Okay. Attacks the queen. Yep. But Carissa now with queen c3 has a new threat of queen taking this pawn on c4 with check. All right. So how does Irina respond to this threat? With the queen on c3.
So she plays e5
to allow the queen now to defend this pawn on c4. Right. However, she's giving up a pawn to protect this pawn. So Carissa just simply plays queen takes e5 and renews the threat of queen takes e3 with check. Yeah. So what does Irina do now on her 33rd move, is it?
This is nice. So, not her move, but rook to g3 to defend the bishop.
Now, it looks the rook is now defending the bishop. The rook is now defending this. Okay, so it looks good. If you look at it quickly,
this would be this would be a good, if you're watching it later on video, this would be a good chance to pause and see if you can see what the
now maybe
best move is.
I don't know whether Darren can get the maybe it's easier to see this with a diagram.
Can
we get the
can
position.
You put the diagram back up?
If we get the diagram back, actually after move 33, we go back to the position if we can.
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. And there is the position. Yeah. Do our viewers see?
Yeah, you can pause it here and see if you can find.
Can you find the winning move for Carissa in this position?
Okay.
She comes up with a brilliant move that is the winning move of this game.
Yep. This is really nice.
Okay, so it looks like White is defending here. Yep. The rook is defending the bishop. The queen is defending this pawn. It looks like there's a defense here. However, there isn't. Yep. This is now a loss for Irina because now Carissa plays the winning move, which is rook f4. Right there. What is this? Hold it. The rook is now attacking the queen.
Right.
Okay,
And the queen has no place to go.
the queen is trapped.
Yeah.
The queen cannot save itself.
Yeah.
In fact,
Right. You might. Some viewers might think, oh, can't he just take? But no,
the
it's
pin.
pinned. It's
Can't do
pinned,
it
so.
because of the pin.
Yeah.
Yep. And you can't block. You can't bring the rook up to block the rook attack on the queen because the rook is here to defend the bishop on e3.
And even capturing it doesn't work
no,
because after
yes, you take there,
capture,
you win.
there's still a pin.
So you've won a queen.
So you've won a queen.
So in this position, Irina resigned.
Yep.
And this was a 33-move game, one of the top games of the U.S. Women's Championship. Again, played at round 6. Now we have, courtesy of the St. Louis Chess Club, an interview that was done after Carissa won the Women's Championship. And this
no,
the U.S. No, wasn't this done
that
actually?
was after.
What was done?
Oh yeah, it was. I'm sorry, it was after she won the championship. I'm sorry.
Okay, so this was an interview conducted by an Ukrainian woman grandmaster by the name of Anastasia Karlovich. So we're going to show this now. A very interesting interview that was done by Anastasia Karlovich of Carissa right after she had won her 3rd straight U.S. Women's Championship. So let's roll the video on this.
With Carissa, and my congratulations on this victory. Great job, Carissa. What are your feelings right now after winning the event?
Let me think on it. I think I'm still a little bit in shock. Everything happened so quickly, Yeah, at some point I was like 2 points behind the leaders, and then I just won a bunch of games, and now I'm here.
What happened at this moment when you started your event not so well? Like, what was this crucial point for you to actually change the path in the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it was a awful start. I was pretty unhappy, but I think I kind of need to find my form in the tournament. I think I started out a little nervous, and also sometimes I can have a bit of a shaky start. I think at Cairns I was also like 1.5 out of 4.
Exactly.
But I feel like once I really hit my stride, then things just go well.
Yeah. Did somebody support you at this moment? Like, what was happening? I mean, normally we need some kind of a group of support around us to get where we want.
Yeah, I have my family, I have my friends, so it's good.
How does it feel? I mean, you're winning the 4th title already. Like, does it mean anything special, this one, for you?
I think the thing I'm most excited about for this one is, how like the middle school white boys love to throw up the 4 sign? Yeah, that's what I'm going to start doing now.
I see. Yesterday you said you didn't tell to Kostya about your strategy for the last round, and I was hoping you will share with me what was your approach before this round, the crucial one.
I mean, I always want to win, so I played a very fighting line, I think, and at some point it kind of backfired on me, but I managed to bounce back. So, yeah, I mean, I always want to win.
It's a nice approach, actually, yes, to play always for victory. And you actually scored 6.5 out of 7 and finished really strong in this event. Are you proud of it?
No, I'm very happy. At least I get the finish strong prize.
Exactly,
for the second half of the tournament. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Well, how are you going to celebrate today? And I mean, maybe not only today. Tomorrow we have the closing ceremony as well. Any thoughts?
Drinks on me tonight, tomorrow night. No, I'm just kidding. I promised Alice I would take her out for ice cream. So I guess that's where I'm headed after this interview.
Yeah, and also, like, she lost this in the last round. Did you pay attention to what was happening on the other boards?
Yeah, of course. I mean, at some point I was in trouble, and I was like, man, I hope every board draws. I looked over, and then at some point I stopped paying attention, and I think Anna had tricked Alice. Yeah, it was a tough game.
Exactly. I think it's a really good idea to go for ice cream right now with her and your friends. Carissa, really so exciting event. Everybody's so impressed. They were just discussing at the studio. Really looking forward to see you playing next year in US Chess Championship. Thank you so much for coming here every day and sharing your thoughts.
Of course.
If you would like to add something, perhaps, maybe to the guys in the studio.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great event. Thanks, guys, for having me again. And, oh my gosh, I could see them on screen. Hi, guys.
Are we invited
Say
for that
hi.
ice cream?
Of course.
See you guys later. Drinks on me again.
They're asking if they're invited for the ice cream as well.
Ice cream. I think they're on the clock right now, but maybe after.
So come here and we can go all together, yes, to this famous ice cream shop nearby, near the club. Thank you, Carissa, once again. Let's go back to the studio.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Carissa. Really an amazing job.
Yeah, just incredible.
Very, very, very well
These
done.
finishes only Carissa can have. I just don't recall anybody else just unstoppable.
These U.S. championships really, really are nerve-wracking affairs. As there you see our women's champion.
Giant congratulations to International Master, still International Master, but already with one GM norm, Carissa Yip. She's the 2025 U.S. Women's Chess Champion. She's earning $40,000 plus the Finish Strong prize.
Fantastic.
So that was an interview of Carissa Yip by Ukrainian woman Grandmaster Anastasia Karlovich, and the three commentators that appeared at the end of the interview. We had actually a panel from left to right was I think woman Grandmaster Katerina Nemtsova, and in the middle was Yasa Serwan, Grandmaster Yasa Serwan, who was a former U.S. champion.
Right.
Who, by the way, came to Fitchburg in September 1982 and gave a simultaneous exhibition at the Wachusett Chess Club. And on the right was Grandmaster Maurice Ashley, who was a very eloquent commentator of chess at the St. Louis Chess Club.
He was the first
African-American Grandmaster.
Yep.
And again, I'm very impressed by Maurice, by his eloquence and his very articulate as a commentator, along with Yasa Serwan and Katerina Nemtsova. And I looked up actually how Carissa did rating-wise. Now she actually there are two ratings she has as far as, well, she has as among classical chess. What they played this U.S. championship was classical chess, slow chess, played at a slower rate. And she has a World Chess Federation rating, also known as the ELO rating. Now, I looked up actually how she stands worldwide. Where's her world ranking among all the female players in the world? And her rating now, ELO rating, World Chess Federation, is currently, after this U.S. championship, Women's Championship, is now 2459. That's her FIDE, or World Chess Federation, which puts her at 18th in the world. She's among the top 20. She's now currently 18th in the world, right now, her current rating. But her U.S. Chess Federation rating is over 2,500. Okay. It's now 2,540. You know how many points she gained by winning this year's U.S. Women's Championship?
I don't.
She started with 2,532. She only gained 8 points. So basically, it was winning a point for every point she won in the tournament. So, again, I also want to point out that Carissa, before she won the U.S. Women's Championship and won the Boston Club Championship and won the Wachusett Chess Club Championship in 2014, she was the Massachusetts Elementary School co-champion in 2013. Okay. And in 2013, and then in 2014. She was a co-champion as far as the state junior high school champion, and then high school champion 3 times after that. So she's a phenomenal player, and we hope our Chess Chat fans enjoyed the game. We presented the results we gave them on this year's U.S. championships, both the U.S. Championship Open Division and the U.S. Women's Championship. Congratulations again to multi-time, 4-time U.S. Women's Champion Carissa Yip. And again, we present to you next time an exciting episode of Chess Chat.